Ha-ha! There's not too many things better than the NBA Finals. There you see it, the view, the overview of the Oracle in Oakland, California, side of Game 3 of the NBA Finals from the Oracle in Oakland, California. Of course, you see people with their Steph Curry jerseys walking into the arena. You see Steph Curry walking into the arena himself. Doesn't look like he's ready to play golf. Look like he's just in cruise control. He's going to have a tough night, no question about it. Potentially without Klay Thompson. Of course, there's the one and only Kawhi Leonard, one of the top 3 players on the planet right now, coming into the arena, tied 1-1 in this series. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Oakland, California. We're at the Oracle for Game 3 of the NBA Finals. The Toronto Raptors being hosted by the Golden State Warriors. Obviously, a lot of stuff to get into. I'm yours truly, Stephen A. Smith, hosting the Sports Center Special. Looking forward to having the guest that I'm going to have on today's show, Mark Spears, Brian Winters, Commissioner Adam Silver, of course, owner Joe Lacob, the one and only Mike Wilbon. I got a cast of characters, a crew, ready to talk about the NBA Finals. Make no mistake about it, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. First things first, though, got a few things to get into. One of the things is my state of mind right now because, as Adrian Wojnarowski reported for us on Twitter as well as on ESPN, Klay Thompson has been lobbying the Golden State Warriors to play. They have advised him to sit out for Game 3 tonight. He wants to play. Here's my thinking. Sit him out. You know why? Because it's 1-1. You don't want him to get injured and then all of a sudden, or re-injured, and all of a sudden not be available to play for Game 4 or the rest of the series. The bottom line is, even being down 2-1, the Golden State Warriors are a lethal arsenal when healthy. Even without Kevin Durant, they're still lethal. They can still beat the Toronto Raptors as far as I'm concerned. If Klay Thompson, if Boogie Cousins, if Andre Iguodala is ready to join Draymond Green along with Steph Curry to handle their business. But I think the key to Game 3 tonight is going to be Draymond Green. Of course, Boogie Cousins will be in there, going from 8 minutes to 28 minutes from Games 1 and 2, and that was pivotal. But Draymond Green is going to be the key here. You can expect them to key on Steph Curry as they did in Game 2 when they threw a box and one on him in the last 5 minutes. They're going to dare somebody else for the Golden State Warriors to shoot. Nobody would be stupid enough to do that with Klay Thompson, but you would take that risk with Draymond Green being your secondary or third offensive option, with Boogie Cousins being the second or third offensive option. The bottom line is Draymond Green's got to show up from the perimeter. He's shown up in every other way. He's my MVP for the NBA Finals thus far for the Golden State Warriors, the way he has played in Games 1 and 2. But having said all of that, the one impediment to his success, the one impediment to his game has been his perimeter shooting. Can he hit perimeter shots? Because you know that the Toronto Raptors are going to stand there and dare him to hit perimeter shots. And if he can't do that, that's going to put more of a load on Boogie, more of a load on Steph Curry, and I'm just not sure they're going to be able to handle that in Game 3 of this NBA Finals. That's Stephen A's state of mind coming into Game 3 tonight. We'll see how things unfold. But before I do anything else right now, I'm going to talk to my man Brian Winters in just a second. But first order of business is to get to Marcus Spears for the Undisputed right here with Stephen A. Or the Undefeated right here with Stephen A. What's going on, Marcus? How are you, sir? Talk to me about your thoughts about tonight's game. What are you thinking?
Well, I just got a call back from Michael Thompson, and he says, is he playing? I'm like, tell me, is he playing? He's talking about his son, of course, Klay Thompson. We're waiting for him to run out here to see what he could do. Steve Kerr talking about 10 minutes. But Michael Thompson said, hey, I talked to my son last night. He sounded like he's ready to play. He wants to play. He expects to play. Now, what Klay wants and what the Warriors staff wants is two different things. When Klay comes out here, if he does come out here, I expect to see several doctors watching his every move. If it's up to Klay, he's going to play, but as you said, it may not be in the best interest of the team that he does.
Mark Spears, when you think about Draymond Green and the role that he has to play in Game 3 tonight, have you talked to him about it? What has he told you about the role he thinks he needs to play in light of the possibility of Klay Thompson being out?
Draymond just wants to do whatever it takes to win. He's always been like that. If you look at his numbers, he doesn't care about scoring. He doesn't even look at the rim a lot of times. So if it means defense, if it's playing point forward, if it means whatever, he'll sell popcorn at Oracle. He seems like he'll do whatever it takes to get this team to win, and he's also stepped up his leadership. And surprising to me, he ain't really saying nothing to the refs. When's the last time he got a technical? He's really reined it in and focused on trying to get these guys a championship. And he also told me he's focused on getting Stephen Curry as MVP as well.
real quickly, Steph Curry made a tremendous gesture coming into tonight's game. Can you tell us what that is and why, real quickly?
He has these shoes that say Oakland on the side of it, 10 for 10 seasons in the back. He's written 30 letters to people that have meant something to him over these 10 seasons in Oakland, and they're all getting these shoes. And a memento, handwritten letter from him telling him how much he loves them and how much they've meant to him over these 10 years in Oakland.
Mark Spears for the Undefeated. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much for being on the show. All right. Look at Boogie Cousins arriving. He clearly looks mission-minded, Brian Windhorst. He clearly looks ready to play. He's walking into the arena. He's walking better than I've seen him walking in a few weeks, and obviously we saw what he did in game 2. Brian Windhorst is standing right next to me right now. Coming into tonight's game, what's your priority? What are you focused on more than anything?
Boogie better be ready to play, Stephen A. It's the biggest game of Boogie Cousins' career tonight. This is the most uncertainty I've had for a finals game. This is my 10th finals. I don't ever remember being uncertain like this. What are we going to have in this game? Who's going to play? Who's going to play big? What are the game plans going to be, especially deep into a series? It's a huge game for Boogie. It's a huge game for Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol, former Defensive Player of the Year, got bullied around in game 2. Wasn't ready for Boogie. That was a major factor there. The ball's going to find him. One of the reasons why it was so great for the Warriors to get Boogie Cousins was for a moment just like this. Even though we never saw this coming, this is it. Right there is a big matchup right now. Gasol on Boogie is big tonight. And as you mentioned, Draymond Green. The ball's going to find Draymond Green too.
We've heard what Wojnarowski reported on Twitter and the ESPN, obviously, about Klay Thompson. What are you hearing exactly about what Klay Thompson is telling the Golden State Warriors, and what do you think they should do with him based on the information you have?
So the Warriors have 2 game plans because they have to realize that Klay could come out here, feel good enough, and impress the trainers enough, convince them that he can play. So there was 1 game plan with Klay playing and 1 game plan with Klay not playing, which probably, Stephen A., is going to mean the biggest game for Alfonso McKinnie. That's where we are in this historic situation. Alfonso McKinnie likely to move into the starting lineup. That's 1 game plan, that's the other. Raptors, same situation. They have 2 game plans. One is going to be to clamp down on Steph Curry. Maybe not the box and 1, but certainly you would think double teams if Klay doesn't play. If Klay is a late add, you will see them right from the start run Klay and run Klay and run Klay to try to test him out to see and find weaknesses. Both coaching staffs have prepared multiple opportunities for tonight.
We know what to expect from Kawhi Leonard, injured or not. We know what to expect from him. Who are they looking towards to step up and handle their business to help him out on the road at the Oracle for Game 3 tonight?
Well, Kyle Lowry has got to play better. I'm not saying that he was a dog, but he has got to play better. 30% shooting the first 2 games, foul trouble in Game 2. Again, this is a huge moment for them. They came in here the last time they were here. Kawhi Leonard was out, and they delivered a big victory on this court. They have good memories of that. Kyle Lowry played great in that game. They are going to have to recall that. Kyle's going to have to play one of his biggest games tonight. If Klay does not play, Stephen A., I don't want to pound this too much, but this will be the most must-win game in the history of the Raptors franchise. They have to do it. That means a great game from Kawhi. That means a great game from Kyle Lowry. That means a great game from Marc Gasol. And don't forget, we could see OG Anunoby come back tonight in his first game of the playoffs.
Is that your way of saying that if the Raptors lose Game 3 tonight, there is no reason on earth to believe they're going to win this series?
If they can't win tonight's game without Klay Thompson, I don't think you can be a champion. So that's what I want to see. If you want to win the championship for the Raptors and Klay is down tonight, you've got to win this game.
You feel that way. I feel that way. Knowing the Raptors, they probably feel that way. Is that what the Golden State Warriors are telling you? If they take this game, we know we've got them?
That's the one thing about the Warriors. I remember that game in Houston when they lost Durant and they were going on Houston, and Houston thought they were going to have it. Now, granted, they still had Klay and they had Draymond playing really well. They were happy and excited. They love challenges. And Stephen A., that's not a must-win game for them. They're okay with falling down 2-1. They know they can win on the road. They know that they can beat this team multiple times in a row. For them, if Klay doesn't play, it kind of removes the pressure. Just go be free. Go be free, Jonas Jerebko. Go be free, Jordan Bell, whoever they got to play those minutes.
Right.
I think it maybe could lighten the load on them.
Wow. Brian Windhorst, appreciate it as always.
You,
great job on your report. Much more to come on this special hour-long edition of Sports Center. After the break, we're talking NBA Finals. with the commissioner himself, Adam Silver. Oh, look at Andre Iguodala walking up in there. I would like to say, look for, got on a nice T-shirt. You know, I critique wardrobes, Wendy. I critique wardrobe. Short sleeve shirt. It is Southern California. The weather's nice outside. I'm not going to knock him for that. But if it's the NBA Finals, I would have liked to seen a suit myself, me personally. But he still looks good. Adam Silver.
And they love to end the 10-yard Oracle with another championship. It would be, of course, their fourth in the last 5 seasons. We welcome in Brian Windhorst, who has been here throughout this run by the Warriors as well. And Brian, again, the storyline, these injuries. We just saw the tweet from Woj and Ramona. What are you hearing about Klay?
Well, I've been told that the Warriors have prepared 2 game plans and 2 starting lineups, one with Klay Thompson, one without. Look for Alfonso McKinney to be the possible starting forward if Klay doesn't play. He is going to come out here and warm up in a short time. And it's ultimately going to be up to the training staff to make the decision. But both teams, the Raptors also have a double game plan in preparation for clamping down on Steph Curry, shoveling the ball and forcing it to the guy who killed them on the open shot, Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green.
Yep.
Both teams going to be watching both teams with plan A and plan B.
And you were saying yesterday that the training staff has been working miracles round the clock for everybody, but in particular, Klay Thompson.
Yeah, and they're going to have to do extra work to get Iguodala ready to play, and extra work to do DeMarcus Cousins ready to play. And an important factor here, Sage, this is the only time in this series where there is only 1 day off in between games. So that is a factor about worrying about recovery for Klay Thompson. Not just thinking about tonight, but thinking about Friday as well.
Friday, game 4, of course. So here's the thing. You'd think the Raptors would be maybe even licking their chops with all the Warriors' injuries, but they've got a few issues of their own to deal with. And you say there's 2 guys in particular who really need to step up for Toronto.
Right. Klay, definitely Klay is a huge factor here. But Kyle Lowry, only shooting 30% in this series. He has got to play better, got to play smarter. But the guy who is going to be a big part of the game plan tonight, Marc Gasol. Gasol was outplayed by DeMarcus Cousins in Game 2. Wasn't necessarily ready for that matchup. Got bullied around. Without Klay Thompson, DeMarcus Cousins is going to be relied on in that Golden State offense. Marc Gasol, former Defensive Player of the Year, got to slow him down, got to play better. Sage, it's strength on strength. All-time great defensive big against one of the league's great offensive bigs in a vitally important game. This is an opportunity for somebody on the Warriors to be a hero. DeMarcus is there. They need Marc Gasol to stop him.
And you think about what DeMarcus did from Game 1 to Game 2. Really didn't score Game 1, 8 minutes to the double-double in his first NBA Finals game ever. Boogie Cousins ready for this moment. You talk about pivotal, by the way, Game 3. The winner of Game 3 goes on to win the NBA Finals 81% of the time. So much on the line here as we count down to tip-off of Game 3. Brian Windhorst, thank you, sir, for that one. In the meantime, still much more to come here. Rocket Mortgage presented by Quicken Loans once again. As you take a look here, the talk over the last few days has been all about that box-and-one defense that the Raptors used on Steph in Game 2. How much show as we get you set for tip-off of Game 3 of the NBA Finals on ABC. This tweet just a bit ago from our Adrian Wojnarowski along with Ramona Shelburne saying that Golden State officials prefer Klay Thompson sit out Game 3 to protect that sore hamstring for the rest of these NBA Finals. But Klay, as you may expect, has continued to lobby them on playing tonight. Decision looms prior to tip-off. More on that coming up. In the meantime, have you guys heard about this box-and-one thing that came out? Kind of surprised everybody in Game 2. Let's dive a little deeper and explain exactly what that is. So 4 defenders are assigned a specific area of the court, playing a zone defense. 2 players up on top, 2 players down low. The 5th defender plays one-on-one D against the other team's best shooter. In this case, Fred VanVleet, following, of course, Steph Curry, all over the floor. And as you see, based on the results, the Raptors kind of got what they wanted. Toronto using the box-and-one D for 6 plays total in Game 2, and they were all within the last 5 minutes of the game. And the Warriors, they did not score a single point against this scheme, going 0 for 4 from the field with 2 turnovers. So yes, it is new. As a fan, if you hadn't heard it, guess what? You're not alone. Help me with that. ESPN and ABC's Doris Burke joining me now to talk about that, because Coach Nick Nurse has made some great adjustments all season long in his rookie year as the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. But this box-and-one defense against Steph Curry, I hadn't seen it. A lot of people hadn't seen it. Do you expect more of it tonight? Help me here.
Well, how about Jeff Van Gundy's been in this league for over 3 decades, and he had never seen it in the NBA.
I feel better.
And can we keep in mind they had not practiced it at all coming into the game.
Crazy.
Fred VanVleet telling us yesterday he just threw it up in a timeout. So let's take a look at what they were doing and why it was so successful. You just talked about it, Sage. 4 men are in a zone, and what that affords you an opportunity is to take away the one man you wanted to, and it puts pressure on everybody else. The guys who you don't want shooting it if you're Golden State, well, guess what? You got to step in and make shots. And again, in the box. And the one guy who's got the hardest job is Fred VanVleet, and he is built for this role. He is short, he's stocky, he's not fleet of foot, but he is just such a bulldog in terms of his mentality. I thought he was dynamite with it.
It was incredible to watch, yeah.
And I do think they will only sprinkle this in. I don't think they're going to give Steph a steady diet of anything.
And now, of course, the Warriors are going to be expecting that and to be able to react if they do see it tonight. Let's talk creativity on the other side as the Warriors try to slow down the Raptors' best player in Kawhi Leonard. In Game 3, they limited him to just 23 points, just 14 shots, in Game 1. Game 2, he got loose a little more, 34 points on 20 shots. However, not as efficient, Doris. What do you think with the Warriors' defense on Kawhi?
Well, let's remember what Steve Kerr told us in Game 1. He said, we scored enough to win.
Yeah.
But they lost. So they scored the exact same amount and won. And why is that? Well, their defense was much tighter. You have to play with an incredible focus and attention to detail. When you run a double team, this is picture perfect, baby. You come with intention. You come with high hands and you smother that offensive player because you've got no options here. How about Bogut and Green doing work in that double? Kawhi Leonard, now he turns a corner. He's like, let me get a little separation. 3 bodies are all prepared to make him give up the basketball. Another excellent defensive sequence. Anywhere he touched it, didn't matter. Middle of the floor, side of the floor. What does that do? It forces other to beat you. Kyle Lowry's got to be better. He misses that opportunity. The double teams will afford people around Kawhi open looks. And the one area all throughout the playoffs that Toronto has struggled and lost games, it's when they've missed open shots. They did so in Game 2.
Kawhi Leonard, by the way, don't send him to that free throw line. Perfect 16 and 16 in Game 1, 26 for 28 overall in this series. That is incredible. Klay Thompson, this news, Doris has been following the Warriors, talking to them really all day long.
Yes.
No surprise to you right now, of course, that he's still lobbying to play.
Listen, he has played in 120 straight playoffs. He told us yesterday my leg would have to be dangling for me not to play. It's unwise. They need to protect Klay from himself and make sure he sits tonight.
You understand why. That hamstring, never an easy heal. We shall see what happens tonight. And, of course, leading into Game 4, just 2 days away on Friday. Doris Burke, 9 Eastern time on the call with Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, and Mike Green. Thank you, Doris, as always.
Can't wait.
Giving us insight here as we get to
NBA, a big reason why the Warriors-Raptors series is tied at 1 is because of Boogie. DeMarcus Cousins went past the 20 minutes Steve Kerr expected in Game 2, and he delivered, and he gave the defending champs 28 minutes. Scoring 11, 10, and dishing out 6 dimes in Game 2. And then he sat down with Rachel Nichols to discuss his recovery from that quad injury.
How did you get to the point? Because I know I talked to you a couple days after the injury. I don't want to say that you felt sorry for yourself, but you were deep in it.
I was just ready to quit, like throw the towel in. And, you always, human nature is, the first thing is like, why? Why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? Why do I deserve this?
Great to have Tim Legler with us here. Now with Looney out and the unknown with Klay heading into Game 3, what does Golden State need from Boogie Cousins tonight?
I think you'll see him being much more aggressive and dominant as a scorer. I thought in the last game when he finally got some minutes for the first time in a long time, they really used his playmaking and his passing. This is interesting right here. Watch Draymond Green. He's like, give me the ball, give me the ball. No, DeMarcus Cousins like, no, I got this because this is also part of what I do. And now he puts pressure on the defense up the floor. Kyle Lowry stops ball, but he takes advantage of Kawhi Leonard jogging back. Marc Gasol not exactly sure where to be. He's in no man's land. And take a look at this cross-court pass on a rope to Andre Iguodala. Hits him dead in the cradle. Knockdown 3. I love this one. This is vintage Boogie Cousins his entire career. The ball never touches his left hand. As soon as he catches the ball, look at his head spin. Look at the weak side of the floor. Little brush screen over there. Klay Thompson on the cut. DeMarcus Cousins with that vision to find you. I love this one because this is the only pass he can throw in this situation. He reads it right, first of all. It's got to go to Livingston, and then it's up high over the top. He's 6'8", Kyle Lowry much shorter, so he's going to put that in the one place that Kyle Lowry can't get it. I just thought his playmaking was a huge part of Game 2. But now, if Klay is hobbled or not playing, you don't have Durant back yet. there's going to be so much focus on Steph Curry on the part of the Toronto Raptors. DeMarcus Cousins is going to get a lot of touches and opportunities in this game at the elbows, low post, and they don't really have a great matchup for him.
Okay, with that backdrop here with the Warriors, many believe this is a must-win situation for the Raptors tonight. Kawhi coming off 34 points in that Game 2 loss. What do you need to see from him tonight?
Man, you hate to say this to a guy that's been this good throughout the entire postseason, but he needs to be even better. I don't think Kawhi Leonard can be good in Game 3. I think Kawhi Leonard has to be the best player on the floor, and I think he has to be the best player on the floor by a wide margin. He might need to have one of those 35, 36-point nights, control the pace, control the flow, do it efficiently the way he did the entire series against Philadelphia and in large part against Milwaukee. You're going to need that out of Kawhi tonight. He has to be on that level for them to get this one. And if you're not going to get this one, I don't know that Toronto's going to have a chance to win this series.
Every round so far in the playoffs, his shooting percentage has gone down. We'll see if that changes tonight. Let's go back to Oracle with Sage.
All right, Kev, thank you. With the Warriors ailing, it has forced both coaches to adjust throughout this series. That's what coaches do, though. And Kevin Durant out for tonight's Game 3 as expected, while Kevon Looney will not play the rest of the series. He's been playing so well, too. Klay Thompson, the biggest storyline coming into tonight, officially still questionable with that hamstring strain, went down with about 8 minutes left in Game 2 in the fourth quarter, but Andre Iguodala will be in the lineup tonight. Longtime coach, longtime broadcaster for us here at ESPN and ABC. Jeff Van Gundy joins me now. And Jeff, leading into Game 2, thanks for being here, by the way. I know this is his favorite thing to do, SportsCenter. Leading into Game 2, you said, I don't know how publicly, but that DeMarcus Cousins should start. He did. We see the result. It was excellent for the Warriors. Now, the Warriors have even more concerns with more injuries. So you're Steve Kerr tonight. What's your biggest concern, your number one priority?
Well, if they don't have Thompson, it's going to be hard to score 100, right? So your defense is going to have to win the game. Your ball handling, you're going to have to keep your turnovers way down. Somehow will yourself to the free throw line, get some second shots because you don't have the weapons in the half court to produce enough. So I would think Quinn Cook and McKinney would be huge because they have the possibility of getting you double figures, along with, obviously, Green would have to be good. Cousins would have to be good, and Curry would have to be special.
So that's like 5 different things he's got to worry about, right? I mean, this is as challenging as it's been for Steve Kerr during this run.
Yeah, but I also don't want to underestimate the guys they will have there, even if Thompson's out. They have 3 All-Stars in Cousins, Green, and Curry. That's a plethora of talent that a lot of teams don't have. So they do have enough. It's just that Toronto's really good, and they're really good defensively. So it's going to be hard in the half court. They're going to have to get stops, get out in transition. Like I said, find some magic points, some effort points in the second shot game and in the free throw game.
So that's the thing. That's really good perspective. You still have 3 All-Stars with a couple of them down. And real quick, if you're Nick Nurse, you're preparing for the game plan with and without Klay Thompson, right?
Well, you would prepare for him, and then if he's not there, then you just adjust from there. But I think their thought process is they have to play better and they have to expect Thompson to be playing, and not just playing, but playing at his best.
Exactly. And with a hamstring, again, that can take a really long time to heal. They had a 5-game playoff winning streak snapped in Game 2. The Raptors did, trying to start all over again tonight here, Game 3 at Oracle. Jeff Van Gundy on the call tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern Time with Mark and Mike and Doris on ABC. Jeff, thank you, as always, for joining us here on SportsCenter once again. We're counting down to tip-off here. Couple of hours away, but the guys, the players, the coaches out on the court getting warmed up for Game 3 here at Oracle, the 47th and final season of this arena being home to the Golden. Irving, it's still up in the air, I guess, with 25 days and counting until he can become a free agent. Danny Ainge, the Celtics president, addressed the media today for the first time since suffering a mild heart attack during their playoff series against Milwaukee. As expected, Danny Ainge asked about Kyrie.
There's not much I can say about that, honestly, but there's ongoing conversations. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there.
This camp hasn't given you an indication that he does not want to come back here.
I have not received that indication, no. He can do what he wants. It's his choice to do what he wants.
Is there anything you can do roster-wise that would encourage Kyrie to re-sign him?
I don't know the answer to that. We're not afraid of risk. We made a risk by trading for Kyrie, and no matter what happens with Kyrie, I'll never regret that. Just move on to the next deal.
nothing they can do, I guess, right now except wait and see. Sports Center on the road, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, as we take a look high above Oracle Arena. And gosh, Oracle is where Kyrie Irving hit the shot that helped the Cleveland Cavaliers shock the Golden State Warriors after their 72-win season. That was 3 short years ago, and now look, gone from Cleveland, maybe gone from Boston. Michael Wilbon, unfortunately, staying right here with me during these NBA Finals. I mean, who knows with Kyrie at this point? What's your gut, though, Michael? What are you hearing?
That he's not going to be in Boston, that he's going to leave. I mean, we hear Stephen A. has reported that, Brooklyn is the place he'd rather be, even over Madison Square Garden with the Knicks. And my question is, how valuable is Kyrie? We know he's going to get a max deal, nearly $150 million if he goes to Brooklyn or the Knicks or wherever it is. But we just saw a team have a tough season with him. They had a better season previously without him. This is not like the silly question of, are the Warriors better without KD? That's a dumb question.
Right.
There's only one answer. No, they're not better. The Boston Celtics, we had a full season sample and postseason to see they're better without him, or at least they were in this season. So what does that mean for a team like Brooklyn, and whether they want to spend that $140 million, $146 million, I think it is? Is he a leader? Have we seen that out of Kyrie? No, we saw him play Robin to LeBron's Batman, and it worked. Sure. He is an incredibly talented player and an asset. Do I want to make him the focal point of my building of a championship contender? I don't know, Sage.
The question is, though, does the talent outweigh the chemistry issues? And last year, the answer to that
was no.
Yeah. The news here today, as we wait and see what happens with Klay Thompson, Adrian Wojnarowski and Ramona Shelburne tweeting this a little bit ago, that the officials prefer, Michael, that Klay sit out Game 3 to protect that sore hamstring for the rest of these finals. But you know Klay, we know Klay. Of course he wants to play. He's continued to lobby them, but they'll wait till tip-off to make that decision. Michael, at the end of the day, Games 3 and 4, the only games where there's just one off day in between, so you understand why they prefer to sit him tonight, right?
I do, but we also know that Klay Thompson has played through so many injuries. His toughness is dramatically underrated.
Yeah.
He's played through injuries that have gone unreported, underreported. I think I have to leave that to Klay Thompson. I think after 8 years, whatever it is in the league, he's earned that. We see this all the time in championship competition. A manager goes to the mound, and a veteran pitcher, only a veteran pitcher, says, Skip, no, I am not leaving this mound. I'm staying out here to get the next guy. And at some point, you have to trust your mega stars. Sage, you wouldn't trust everybody in a Warriors uniform with that, but Steph, Klay, Draymond, you wouldn't trust them?
I would. They know the importance of not pushing themselves because of the later games. By the way, Game 4, if he doesn't go tonight, Klay and Kevin Durant possibly coming back for Game 4 on Friday, so I understand why they say they might want to wait. Michael Wilbon, thank you, sir.
Thank you,
here all night long.
Appreciate
You've seen this face here on ESPN. And the faces of about 20,000 people. This place is always raucous come tip-off for all 4 quarters as the Warriors get set to really try